Okay, let me, so everybody can hear me.
Are y'all going?
Well, let me answer you.
Here, I'll give you another question.
No, I want to answer that one
Are you
first.
going to be exempt from that?
No, I won't be exempt because what we're doing. Wait a minute. Let me. Employer-based insurance. I've been fortunate. It's the company I managed. We had employer-based insurance. I was a state employee through the state of Texas. We had employer-based insurance. Federal employees have employer-based insurance, and members of Congress fit in federal employees. My wife knows how much we pay per month for for our insurance that's part of the federal employees' plan. Brenda and Rhonda have the same options that I do. You have a low plan, you have a medium plan, you have a high plan, and that's what we're in now. Now, if you want members of Congress to go into the public plan, we could do that. But I'm not going to make ExxonMobil employees go into the public plan. I'm surely not going to make all the federal employees go into the public plan because they're not responsible for it. So, but let me give you the only example I have of going into a public plan. Right now, anytime anybody, whether you're a member of Congress or the President of the United States, at 65 years old, you have to apply for Medicare. There's no exception.
But you guys have bankrupted that already. So
no, we haven't bankrupted Medicare.
Why do you keep saying it's bankrupted?
The whole country's bankrupt.
You guys are spending money.
Amen.
You're spending money up there.
Well, okay. Why don't I go to question, and then I'll listen to your question, and you have to listen to my response, and that'll be fair. Yes, sir.
Yeah, my question is, as you know, the 46 million uninsured number that's being bandied around by the Democrats includes over 25 million illegal aliens. So can you tell me where in the Constitution does it state that it's mandated that the government is obligated to provide universal health care?
Okay.
Yeah!
Well, I'll start with the constitutional provision. You know, the government provided Social Security, provided Medicare since 1965. And so,
where in the Constitution?
Would you let me respond? I'll do it one question at a time. You'll get your turn in a minute. Let me answer his, okay?
Sure.
I can't tell you in the Constitution because the Supreme Court actually interprets the Constitution. Members of Congress don't. Look, we have three branches of government. We have a president, the judicial, and the legislative one. So, but that's why, if the Social Security system is constitutional, if Medicare is constitutional, then I would think any type of plan. The SCHIP program that's been in effect since 1997 is constitutional. I don't know if anybody's taken it to court, but the courts are the ones that make that decision. You know, Supreme Court ultimately will decide whether whatever Congress does or the President does is right. Now, let me get back to your numbers. You know, the 47 million, I've heard anywhere from 40 to 50 million. So 47 seems like the number everybody picks. I didn't go out and count them. I'm just looking at all the reports we get. But the estimate is it's about 9 or 10 million are undocumented or illegal. And they will not be covered by this bill. Because they're not covered by Medicaid right now.
Yes, they are Lone Star cards. They got Lone Star cards. I see
them
every day.
If the only reason someone that's here illegal gets anything is that they have a Social Security number. Now, as a state who manages Medicaid, well, that you don't go down and get a Lone Star card without a Social Security number.
I see it every day. I said, how did I get one of them cards? I was born here, raised here.
Well, how you get a Lone Star card is that you actually go down and the state agency, Health and Human Services, will analyze your income.
That's what's wrong with it right now.
Well,
analyze too wrong.
Medicaid is a substantially federal program, but it's run by the states. They have to live with our regulations, but about 68% of every Medicaid dollar is federal dollars, and the rest is state money. But the state manages it. And the state is not doing the background check on whether those Social Security numbers are correct. What I tell people, and I hear it all the time, if you go to Kroger's over here on Aldi Mail Route or wherever, and you see somebody that used a Lone Star card and come out and get into an Escalade, call me. Call me with the license number.
You go down there, Fiesta right there at West Road and Airline and see it happen every day.
Well, we don't have food stamps anymore. We have Lone Star cards. And so, if you would call our office, please, give us that. Because we want.
Can't get through.
You can't call our office? No. I was there for about 4 hours a day and the phone only rang a few times.
All I get is a recording.
You call the North office?
Yes, sir.
Well, like I said, I was there today, and Rhonda's there every other week as chief of staff. She moves around the offices. So you shouldn't have a problem calling. And my rule in my office is if you want to talk to me, call and just leave the message. I have great staff. If they have something, they'll work with you. If you have a Social Security or veterans issue,
Sometimes some
talk.
of the offices I call, some of the representatives, they have someone there answering the phone, at least taking our message and our complaint or what we have. When I called your office, nobody answered the phone. No one.
Well, like I said, we've been in session Monday through Friday, and so the day was the first work day I've been in the office, and I wasn't there all day. But we haven't had any trouble with folks getting through. We've gotten lots of calls. In fact, actually, we got more calls in our DC office because I found out today people had long distance.
In these kind of situations,
Pardon?
you have no one answering the phone for you.
Yes.
In these kind of situations,
Sure.
they did when I called, and I called 2 or 3 days, 3 or 4 times a day.
Well, you know, I have a chief of staff that's actually in that north
I don't
office.
know about them. I just know I didn't get an answer.
You
That's
don't
all
get an
I'm
answer.
saying.
Okay, what days did you call? Because I'll be glad to call you back.
I wish I'd have written them down and brought them, but
I wish you had, because I'm proud. I typically carry about half a dozen messages that I trade phone tag with people,
I will say
and I
like
return
2
my
weeks
phone
ago.
calls. Pardon?
I will say it was like a week and a half to 2 weeks ago.
Well, I didn't get your message, and what the staff will do, if you call, they will say, you know, if you're opposed or supporting something, do you want me to call? And if you say yes, then I'll call you. Because I get emails and messages all the time from the district to return phone calls. Let me get, what other part of your question? You had a 3-part question.
Well, I'm good.
Okay, let me get you.
Is it lawful for me to record the conversation I have with your staff in Washington? Is that against the law? Because I'd like to make public record the answers I get from your staff.
Well, I listen to the DC staff when I'm walking through the office, and we've had lots of phone calls, and I've heard them. People call, and if you leave your name and phone number, they'll take it, and I'll get it. But I have a rule in our office I've had ever since I was elected, either state rep or state senate, that I don't ask my staff to do policy. That's my job. You know, you don't vote for Rhonda Jackson or Brenda Arredondo. You voted my race.
Is it lawful for me to record a conversation with your staff?
You know, I would think it would be typically under federal law,
It's an interstate
as long as it's.
It's an interstate call.
It doesn't matter.
You get their permission, you
Majority
can.
rule that you can record conversations.
Yeah, as long as one person is on the line. Yeah. Again, I may be a lawyer, but I haven't practiced law in a long time, so I don't know if there's any new cases on it. But you know, I assume it's correct. And but if you don't, if you have somebody on my staff who's rude to you, call one of the other offices and just say I need to talk to Gene and give the number. And if you call, I'll return your call. And I've got lots of constituents that I return their calls for all over the district.